Welcome back, Sammy. It's good to see you. How have you been since the last time we met?
I'm alright. I still haven't told my parents about my issues with being anxious all the time. My friends are still moving on without me, like I told you last time. I've been a little less anxious, I guess.
I see. Could you go into maybe more detail about how you've been feeling less anxious lately?
Okay. Well, I did what you suggested, and I got the courage to talk to my favorite teacher about how I'm feeling, and she was really supportive and is helping me in any way she can. She's helping tutor me for classes to help get my grades up, and she keeps encouraging me to tell my parents about my issues, but I'm too afraid to. I'm in a better place than I was last time, and I don't want that to change.
So, you said how you don't want the feeling of being in a better place to change. What exactly do you mean by that?
I just don't want my parents to be disappointed in me. I don't want them to think that I'm a failure because I couldn't help myself and I had to turn to a teacher for help. I've always been the kind of girl that could solve any issue without the help of others, and I'm afraid that if I tell them what I've been going through, that they'll think of me as someone who can't do anything right.
Okay, so what you're saying is you are afraid your parents will be disappointed in you because you're not handling your problems by yourself, but rather seeking help from a well trusted teacher. You also mentioned how you don't want your parents to think that you can't handle any problem. But do you specifically feel this way?
I actually think I'm handling it kind of well, to be honest. I would think I would actually have the courage to ask help from my teacher, and now I have a feeling that I'm going towards a really good path. Um, I'm glad I could tell my teacher I can get help from my teacher. Yet my parents have no clue.
So, on the one hand, you say that you're glad that your teacher is helping you. But on the other hand, you chuckled before when you mentioned your parents having no idea about your problems with anxiety. Can you explain that?
Well, it's just funny to me. My parents put me on such a high pedestal that, God forbid, I falter. I'm seen as the problem child. I just feel like if I mention my anxiety to them, they'll respond with, "Oh no, not my perfect daughter, my perfect angel. You're just stressed." Maybe I'm not the perfect child that I should be for them.
So, you're saying that you feel you're put on a pedestal by your parents and that that's the reason you don't want to tell them and have them know about your struggles. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, I understand. You also mentioned not being the perfect child that you believe you should be for your parents. Have you ever tried saying, instead of having to be the perfect child, that I would like to be the best daughter I can be for them so that you do not feel that you're pressured to reach perfection for them?
I've never thought about it like that before. That makes a lot of sense.
Have you ever thought about the possibility of your parents being accepting if you told them what you're going through? They are your parents after all, and I'm sure they care about your well being.
I've gone back and forth with the idea. I want them to know that I'm trying to be the best daughter I can be for them, but I'm struggling and I would love their support. Maybe telling them wouldn't be a bad idea at all. I want to tell them.
Well, you're definitely heading towards the right track. It's great that you want to tell your parents about your struggles, and the more support you have around you during these times, the better. Do you think by next session you could have the courage to tell them?
I think that would be great. I'm not scared anymore, and you're right. They are my parents, and their support would mean the world to me.
That's great. You also mentioned in the beginning of our session how, although your anxiety has lessened since we last met, your friends are still moving on. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. Um, I've definitely seen how my anxiety has improved, like I said earlier. I still sometimes get anxious going to school, but I realize that the teacher who has been helping me so much is she's there and it's made me feel better. I have one close friend that I did not mention last session, but she has been great and she always checks on me to see if I'm okay. I got one acceptance letter to college so far, which is way better than the zero that I had before. Um, while all this is great, my other friends have chosen where they're already going, and I'm getting anxious again because I don't know what I want to do or where I want to go.
Well, first off, congratulations on your acceptance to college. See, the real world isn't that bad after all. Also, it's great that you have support from your close friend and teacher, and they continue to check up on you. Yet, it can be frustrating with your other friends since they seem to have their lives figured out and you feel that you do not. Have your relationship with your friends improved at all since the last time we met?
A little. I've been hanging out with them again, and we still talk, which is great. It's just the fact that they have their plans for the future and they have it all figured out, and I don't.
So it sounds like you're frustrated that you still do not know what you plan on doing or where you plan on going next year, but you have improved your relationships with your friends a little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're all hanging out again because my friends are some of the most important people to me in my life, and I'm proud of their accomplishments. But I feel like a loser for not knowing what I'm going to do with my life yet.
If I understand what you're saying, you say that your relationship with your friends means the world to you, but because of your confusion with what to do in the future, it's getting in the way of your friendship. Is that what's happening here?
I guess it is. I am so proud of them, and they don't judge me whatsoever for taking my time with these big life decisions. But I guess I was the one always putting myself down and comparing myself to them, and I shouldn't do that.
You make an excellent point. You do not seem like your friends do not seem like the ones tearing you down, yet it seems that it's you putting yourself down. You're a smart girl who has so much passion and acceptance for people. You just need to accept yourself. Does that sound like a good plan for you?
Yeah, I feel like I've been putting so much stress on myself, striving to be this perfect daughter for my parents, and even trying to be perfect for my friends.
Exactly. I can say from personal experience that there is no such thing as perfect, just human. You are already working so hard to help with your anxiety and help get it to deteriorate it, and have already taken one of the big steps to tell your teacher, and it's been helping so much. Your next step is to get the courage to tell your parents, but also to begin to accept yourself for who you are.
I definitely see what you mean.
So, in this session, we continued our discussion on your anxiety and how it has been improving as a result of informing one of your teachers. With that, we were able to talk about your struggles with comparing yourself to your friends and their successes, as well as trying to be the perfect daughter for your parents. We talked about your plan to discuss your anxiety with your parents in hopes of support from them, as well as beginning to accept yourself like the friends you have do to you. So, if you would like, we can meet again in 2 weeks to see how you are doing and pick up where we left off.
I would love that. Thank you so much.
See you then.